Guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you guys how to make this dress. So as you can see, I have this fabric folded into two, which is the back panel, and I have another one folded into two, which is the front panel. This dress has a button in front, right? So you will notice that the one for the back, which is this first fold, is smaller, but this one for the front has 1 inch extension here, which is for button, because remember this dress is going to have button. See where my front, the back stops here, you see extra room here is for the front, 1 inch here for my button. So if you're thinking how I got the width of this here, the width of this fabric is about so how you're going to calculate the width is your shoulder divided by 2. So my shoulder divided by 2, this is a kimono dress, so and I want to replicate it the way her own is. I will try my best. So guys, please subscribe to the channel. Please support me by subscribing. Okay, so now the shoulder measurement. So for me the shoulder is 16 and divided by 2. So you're going to use your shoulder. What we're trying to do here is to calculate the width of our fabric, right? But how we're calculating the width for this one on top without the 1 inch. So how I got it is basically my shoulder divided by 2. My shoulder is 16, divided by 2 is 8. And then you're going to add the length of the sleeve you want. So let's say I want my sleeve length to be 9, or I want my sleeve length to be 10. This is including the seam allowance of ½ an inch. So this is what I'm working with, 18 inches. So if I add the two of them together, it's 18. So basically what I have here is my shoulder divided by 2, 8. My sleeve length, 10. Altogether 18. That's how I was able to calculate the length of this, sorry, the width of this, right? So now, so guys, first thing I did is to go ahead and mark ½ an inch at the upper part here, and then after that ½ an inch, this is my seam allowance, I'm going to go ahead and mark 1 inch of shoulder slope, right? And then after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark like 3 inches for the neck width here, and then I'm going to connect from this 1 inch to this 3 inches all the way like this. And then I'm also going to mark in seam allowance on top of it of ½ an inch. That's why I marked this one, this ½ an inch at the top before I even started, right? Because I don't want to, guys, if I don't do this here, I will have to take it from the opening of my armhole. And if you look at her only, you see that the armhole is quite open. So I don't want to take anything away from this opening. Imagine if I did this 1 inch of shoulder slope now and then took away extra 1 inch from inside of it. It's going to reduce the opening. So that's why I made sure to mark ½ an inch before I started. So that way I added it above this instead of taking it from the opening. So now I'm going to do 1 inch of neck depth. Mark it, right? So now the next thing is going to be to mark the my sleeve opening. So it depends on you. You can do your armhole divided by 2 and then maybe add 1 inch to it. So I'm going to do at least 10 inches opening because I want it to be open, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and extend that 10 inches line, which is basically my chest line, my armhole line. And then I'm going to go ahead and insert my bust measurement divided by 4. I'm going to add extra 4 inches to it. This is including my seam allowance, 3 inches of ease, 1 inch of seam allowance. That's why I just summed it up to 4 inches. Then after that, I'm going to go again from the top here. If you want, you can do 2 inches. It doesn't matter. If you want, you can do 2 inches of ease, 1 inch of seam allowance. That will be total of 3. And then the next thing I'm going to mark here, I'm not going to bother with the waist. I'm just going to go straight down to my hip line, which is at 25. Go down there and add my hip divided by 4, which is 12, plus extra 4 inches, just like we did initially. And then after that, now I'm going to go ahead and mark where I want the length of this dress to be. So the dress length, it doesn't have to be short, it depends on you. So I think I'm going to work with 37, right? So I'm going to do 37.5 because the bottom of this dress here That black thing you're seeing at the end, guys, it wasn't added on a fold. If you look at the video very well, you will see that it's just a turn up. She made it like a turn up on top of it. So Akara is the inside of that thing, and then black is covering it, just like how the sleeve is. Just take your time and go through the video, you will see it. So now what I need is 37.5, which is 37 will be my length when I'm done, because I've already added half an inch that I need for the shoulder, so I don't need to add it at the bottom here. So 37 is what I want the length to be. Half an inch is going to be to turn up that black thing at the bottom part. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 37.5, and then maybe move my tape again at this point here and mark 37.5. Now all I have to do is just to mark a straight line across. So guys, the measurement I have on my hip line, I brought it to the end of the dress. Now I'm going to connect the two together, just like this. And then, guys, I hope you can see the choke. And then from my hip line, I'm going to connect it to the armhole line here, which is my chest line. And then I'm going to just give it a curve here, but I really don't want to take away from this opening here. So what I'm going to do is, instead of just connecting it directly like how you would connect your armhole, I'm just going to bring it down and give it like half an inch again extra. So now it's like 10.5 opening here, but I've added half an inch on both sides, so I'm still going to be left with my 10 inches when I'm done. So instead of connecting it into my armhole line, which was this initial line, you see I'm making it this like this. I brought it down a little by adding half an inch of my seam allowance on that line. So my seam is just going to go like this, right? So now all I have to do is just to go ahead and cut. So I'm going to cut this out, cut from this point all the way to the armhole, and then cut the shoulder slope and my neckline. So guys, I think we're done with the back panel, but I'm just going to move it away. So now for the front panel, what we have to determine now is what you want for your neck there. So guys, I want to bring down the neckline for this one a little bit lower than what her own is. So if you want, yours can be at 8. Just measure on yourself from your shoulder to where you're comfortable with for the depth of your neck. And then for me, I'm going to just measure up from where I want it to be. So from the tip of my shoulder, I would want it to be at, let's say 9, right? Which is somewhere here. So now I'm just going to connect it from here to this point here, from this point here to this point here. So guys, all we have to do is just to cut this out and then slit open this front panel. So guys, I've cut it off and then open this. I just went this way and cut everything open. So now the next thing I have to do is just to go ahead and then, like, if you look at it now, you see that I have one back panel which is on a fold like this, and then I have this front panel. But before I even do that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my neckline. Sorry, if you want, you can use bias, it doesn't matter. So guys, another thing you can do is the 2 pieces of cloth that you cut from the bottom. Remember when we cut the bottom of this thing here from the length of your Akara, right? You can take it, open it up like this, and then place it this way so that you can use it to cut your facing for this placket side here. You understand? So put it just like this here, and then trace out this neckline like this. So just cut out the same neckline again this way, cut this piece out, and then that way you can just use half an inch to sew it in and turn it over, if you understand what I'm saying. So you're just going to cut something that looks like this, and then on the inside, instead of leaving this much cloth, you can also reduce it and make it like this much here, and then it will look something like this. So your facing is going to be all this part on the inside going this way, and then you can use the glue thing to iron it down, the stay, so that it doesn't come back out, you understand? But I'm going to also show you another method, which is the one I'm going to be using. I'm going to go ahead now. So this is my back panel here. The back panel, I'm going to take it here and join it shoulder to shoulder in the. So guys, you see, I went ahead and joined this side. You see the 2 sides of the front to each other, just at the shoulder here. You see, this is the seam holding it together. The back panel, the front, right? Just hold it together by the shoulder, and then now I'm going to flip it back so that you guys will see what I've done so far. So what I'm going to do is to cut fabric that is 3 inches of width long enough to go around your armhole from one side of the armhole to the other, right? And then what you're going to do is to take that side of your armhole that you're sewing. You see, I've done this side. I just need to iron it. All you have to do is take one side of your armhole. You see the point here? From this side going all the way to the other, coming back to this end. You're going to cut out fabric that can go round. And what you're going to do, you're going to take it, put the right side, your right side. So this is the front of my clothes. The right side facing the wrong side of the inside of my akara. Place it inside there like this. Sew it all the way around with 1/2 inch until you get to the other end like this, right? Once you do that, 1/2 inch like this all the way, turn it over like this and top stitch it. Turn it over, pin it down, and then use 1/2 inch of it to stitch it down again on this side. So guys, once it's done, you see I've sewn it like this. You see the 1/2 inch I used to join it all the way inside like this. Now I'm going to take it, flip it. You remember what I said, the right side is here, facing the wrong side of your akara. Now you're going to turn it over, making sure that this edge where the two of them meet together is going to now be the end of your sleeve like this. You see? And now what you're going to do is pin it down and then use 1/2 inch on this end here. 1/2 inch like this to sew it down all the way till you get to the other side of the sleeve. So guys, the next thing I have to do now is to go ahead. You see, I've gone ahead and ironed this here. You see, I've ironed this down. So what I want to do now is from my front neckline, maybe like 2.5 inches down. You can do 3 inches if you want. So I want the collar to just come down like 2.5. So somewhere here from the shoulder, this is the center of the shoulder, 2.5 down. So all I have to do is to go ahead now and measure my back neckline and then 2.5 inches down. This is for the collar. So we're going to deal with the collar first. So you're going to go ahead and measure, see this line here, this line here. So I'm going to measure from here, going to the back and then come back. You understand? So let me measure what I have. So guys, I measured mine and I got 12 inches, right? So what I did here is that I marked the so the 12 inches divided by 2, because this is on a fold. I'll still show you what this fabric is, right? What it looks like. So the 12 that I got divided by 2 is 6. I marked the 6 here, and then I added 1/2 inch of sewing allowance. And then at the top here, because I want the collar to have like a pointy end, what I'm going to do, instead of that 6 inches, I'm going to do, let's say 7 inches here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add 1/2 inch of sewing it, right? You see? So 7 plus half. Let me be sure of what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah, 7.5 here, because I want it to point out a little. So now this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to take my ruler now and connect it like this. You see what I'm saying? This way, and then the second one this way. I don't know why this chalk is doing this, but like it's supposed to look something like this. You understand? The collar is supposed to look like this, like angled. So if you want, you can extend this one even more, but I'm okay with the way it is. So let me show you what I have. So the length here is 3.5, but if I open it up, is 7 inches. It's just fabric that I folded into 2. I cut 7 inches of width, folded it into 2. Now I have 3.5 like this. 1/2 inch is going into my collar. 3 inches is going to be the length of the collar. You understand? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it back again so that we can cut it. But before we cut it, you'll have to go back again and measure what your back neckline is, right? So just the back alone, don't add the front this time. So the back is like 6.5, right? Divided by 2, that is 3.25, somewhere here. So what I like to do is, just so that this end is not too long, I like to reduce it a little. So at this point here, you can remove like 1/2 inch here and then blend it into the back, right? So now what I'm going to cut off is from this point here, I'm going to cut this out, and then this outer line. So this outer line here into this lower part, the back of the collar is going to be going to have the highest width, but towards the front it has to reduce. You understand? So guys, this is what we have here. I've sewn the ends here, closed it up. So now what I'm going to do is to take it here, go to the collar at the back here, find halfway through this neckline, notch it here, and then the next thing I'm going to do is just to take, you see I've notched it at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and take this collar now, the way it is. I want it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and take, if you want, you can iron it, stay inside of it, so it's a little bit strong, but I don't want to. So I'm going to start from this point now, and then sew this all the way to this corner here, and then sew this all the way to this corner. That's why we reduce the end towards this outer part here, because as you're coming to this side, you want it to reduce a little bit, right? So I'm going to just take it, sew it all the way like this to this side, and then to this other side. So guys, what I'm going to do now, you see I cut this out from here, and then I cut from the bottom here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it up, go to the sewing machine, and then I'm going to use 1/2 inch to close up each end here, just like this. So I'm going to make a stitch all the way like this here, 1/2 inch here, and then 1/2 inch here to close up both ends. And then after that, you're going to come back and notch this here at the center. Notch it here, halfway through the collar, because that's how we're going to join it to the body. So guys, this is what I'm working with right now. So you see, I went ahead and joined it like this. You see the piece here, all the way down like this, inside here. So if you have your facing at this point now, you can go ahead and join the facing shoulder of the back and then the other side, and then use it to turn it over like how we normally use lining. You understand? But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use bias to turn mine over, which is here. You see, I'm going to use bias to turn mine over. But before I even use bias, I'm going to go ahead and add the fabric to turn over this end here. So I'm going to cut about 1.5 inch fabric that is just as long as this, after this neckline here, after this curve of this neckline, all the way down. And then I'm going to join it before I now come back to use bias to finish it up. So guys, you see what I've done so far? This is this side here. So like I said, just cut something if you want to follow my own method. If not, you can use bias to finish it up. So now this other side, I've ironed the stay, so you can't raise this part up anymore. So, and if you look at the neckline, you see that I tried to make sure that this piece here, like the thing that I used to turn it over, this 1.5 came up a little from the neck, right? So that when I go to place my bias, I can be able to use it to cover everything. Because imagine if I stopped it, this is where the neckline stopped. This is where the angle of the V-neck stops. And if I stopped it exactly at that point, then I can't be able to turn it over well. So that's why I brought this up a little. So now I'm going to trim off this excess here. You understand? So now I'm going to go over, take my bias like this. You see the way my bias is. And I'm going to start from one side like this. Put this here on the neckline, and then sew it all the way, even all the way. See the seam I'm going to, forget the collar now. This is just like sewing your bias. Just put away the collar. All you're doing now is just to use your bias to run through the neckline. All this seam allowance here, use bias to fold it. And when you're done, turn it over this way. You understand? So I'm going to do that now. And once that is done, I'm also going to close up the armhole, close up this other armhole like this. So close up both of them to the end, and then we'll come back and finish up with the waistband. So guys, you see, I've gone ahead and closed up the armhole now. Everything is done. So when you go to sew this collar, you see how I folded my bias. So you're going to just fold the bias, turn it in, and then continue stitching it. And then when you come to the collar part, you're going to stitch it behind. You see my stitch behind my collar like this all the way, and then came back out again like this. So see my bias all the way on the neck here, and then the other side of the stitch is behind the collar. So now the next thing I have to do is the bottom part here. So what I'm going to do is, you're going to cut out fabric that is 5 inches width. Remember, for the sleeve we did, I think, about 3 inches, and then for the bottom part we are going to do 5 inches, so that you can be left with, like, if you want you can do 4, but I'm going to make mine bold. So this is what I'm working with, because this 5 inches now, I'm still going to take away 1/2 inch at the bottom, 1/2 inch at the top, and then I'm going to be just left with 4 inches. So what I'm going to do is, at the end here, I'm going to start with this end here. What I'm going to do is fold the fabric like this at the end, because remember, we've already hemmed this place, so you can't just start it fresh like this. So I'm going to just tuck in like almost 1 inch in of the end of this cloth, take it this way, right side facing the wrong side, just like we did before, and then I'm going to sew it all the way around. When I get to this end again, I'll tuck in the same 1 inch again. When I'm done, I'm going to turn it over on top of it like this and hem it. You understand? So it's going to form a band on top of this part here. So guys, this is it here. I just folded this end towards this direction and then top stitch it. You see my stitch all over coming back to this other side here. So that's it. I've joined this bottom part here. After that, the next thing I did was to measure from her shoulder to her waist, to the waist here. For me, which is 17.5. So now I went ahead and cut out this fabric that is 2 inches of width. And then I folded half an inch at the top, half an inch at the bottom. And then I also turned this end here in because I need this part here to be folded. What I'm going to do now is on this line of this my waist, I'm going to go in from the end of this cloth, come in at least 1 inch from this part here, and then I'm going to place this at this point, or you can do half an inch, it depends on you. Half an inch is okay. I'm going to just put this here and then go ahead and sew it at the top part here, sew it at the bottom part here, all the way till I get to the other side of the cloth. As you can see, I also marked it on this side, and then I also marked it at the back, shoulder to waist everywhere. So I'm going to stitch on that particular line. Once I'm done, I'm going to pass my strap inside of it, right? And then I'm going to go ahead, put button on this side, and then make buttonhole on this other side. So guys, this is it here. I've completed it. So another thing you can do is coming down here by like 3 inches, and you're going to put in your pocket here if you want to. The same on this other side. Just after your waistline, come down like 3 inches and then put in like your pocket there. So that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Guys, please like, share and subscribe. Bye.